What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Jay coming at y'all with this reaction video. And look, bro, are we witnessing the greatest peak in NBA history? Y'all really think we witnessing the greatest peak right now that we even have to question this with crappy behind basketball teams? Only a few stars are actually carrying, you know what I'm saying, like the teams and stuff. It's like one star, like teams is not great, bro. Like, but let's see what they talking about.
What does the best version of the best basketball player we've ever seen look like? Many fans would point out
Like
Michael
that
Jordan
right there,
from
yeah,
1988 to
like that
1991
boy.
as the absolute best version of a player they've ever seen. LeBron from 2010 to 2013
Y'all
might
want to
also
know?
be the best version of
Hold
any
on.
player
Gotta see
in
right
the
now.
game's history. But there have been a lot of great players who have had a lot of incredible seasons. 2000 Shaq, 2016 Curry. Maybe your choice is MVP and Defensive Player of the Year Hakeem in 94, or 03 Duncan, or maybe Bird in 86. But maybe a better way to visualize this question.
But why do we keep forgetting about MVP season Derrick Rose, bro? Like, I know, hey, I'm not trying to deride anything, but bro, let's just talk about MVP Derrick Rose, my boy. Like, that boy was something else, dog. Like, y'all can't keep disrespecting him just because he had. We're talking about peak, like peak him. Nobody can mess with him, bro. Like, why do we keep disrespecting my guy like that, bro? Y'all let me know why we keep disrespecting him, bro.
Is this a chart of the 100 greatest three-year peaks in modern NBA history, with box plus minus on the y-axis and win shares per 48 on the x-axis. The further up a player is, the more productive and efficient their peak was. The further right, the larger their impact was on their team's winning. And even towards the bottom of this chart, you'll find some great names like Ray Allen at 78, DeMarcus Cousins at 66. Keep going up and you'll find perennial all-stars and franchise players like Jason Tatum, who is currently in the 46th highest peak over the last 40-plus seasons. Paul George just above him, and Vince Carter at 40. Now, this isn't some perfect method to measure players. Most advanced metrics tend to undervalue defense and overvalue offense, but overall, this gives us a great picture of how impactful players were at the peak of their powers relative to the rest of the league. And at this point, we reach all-time great peaks. The guys who can carry an entire team. Luka at 15, Magic Johnson at 11, Stephen Durant at 7 and 6.
I wonder who's gonna be.
I wonder who's gonna be. Season stretch just ahead of them.
I wonder who's gonna be all the way at the top.
Fourth highest individual peak, and head and shoulders above everyone else.
LeBron and Michael Jordan at the same
numbers are Michael Jordan and LeBron
Hell
James.
no.
Clearly the two best peaks we've ever seen.
Hell no.
Until Nikola Jokic showed up.
What?
He completely blew the lid off of just how valuable one player can be to his team.
Who's scamming the numbers, bro? There's no way Nikola Jokic.
Any basketball player
Nikola Jokic,
ever?
dude, he can barely even dunk the ball. Like, he is so lazy physically. Like, he can barely dunk the ball. He barely gets off. The only reason he dunks is because he's short. I mean, it's because he's tall. If he was any shorter, he would not be dunking the ball. He is not an athlete, bro. He just like shoots, and he shoots awkward. Like, bro, explain.
Today's video is brought to you by SeatGeek. The NBA players like find the advantage and put up great numbers, but
No, we going in depth here.
how do you
boy.
know when a
I'm not
player
playing
is
this.
truly impacting the game? They can put up great numbers, but that doesn't always translate to winning basketball. You can use the eye test, but our eyes can be deceiving. However, there is one surefire way to tell. And that's when a player is so important and so valuable that their team is utterly lost without them. Every time they step out of the game, everything falls apart. We saw this with LeBron at points in his career. We've seen this many times with Steph.
With Kevin Durant?
And just a couple days ago, we saw this with Nikola Jokic. In the recent matchup
Bro,
against the Warriors,
hold on. If we're talking about like when a person is injured and they can't win a game, where's Kevin Durant, bro? When he was with the Warriors, he got injured. They lost. They were not gonna win, bro. What are y'all talking about, bro? Like, y'all is missing out so much great players. You know what I'm saying? Y'all is bringing up Jokic like Jokic is some Kevin Durant, LeBron, Curry, Michael Jordan. He's not any of that, bro. It's just like when you're in a team full of bums, obviously you're gonna be named as the best. Like Anthony Edwards. Who's with Anthony Edwards right now? The only reason the team is talking about Anthony Edwards is because of Anthony Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are y'all talking about right now, bro? Like, I don't know, dog. I don't know.
Jokic started the game, and the Nuggets got out to a 6-point lead before he checked out for the first time with 1:32 left in the first quarter. Now pay attention to the score and the time left on the clock. By the time Jokic re-entered the game, 5 minutes later, the Nuggets were down 5 points. Jokic helped the Nuggets overcome that deficit, and by the time he checked out again at the end of the third, the Nuggets were back up by 5. By the time he returned to the game, just 2.5 minutes later, the Nuggets were down 3 points. Jokic played the rest of the game, and the Nuggets ended up winning by 4. Jokic was on the bench for just 8 minutes of this game, was a net plus 42 points, and the Nuggets won this game by just 4. And that pretty much sums up how important Nikola Jokic is on a basketball court. Pair the impact he makes on his team's success with stat lines that make you question.
I'm not hating on him either, yo. I'm not hating on him.
basketball.
Trust me, I'm not
And you have
hating on him.
yourself a
Trust me,
player
trust me.
who is
trust me, I'm
beginning
not.
to enter conversations
But come on,
that
man.
some fans aren't quite ready to have. Are we witnessing the highest peak in the history of the NBA? Some people think so. We're now going on 5 seasons of this guy being the best player on the planet, and despite 3 MVPs in 4 seasons, the man has somehow found a way to take his game to even another level. Is there still a gap between Jokic and the highest peaks in basketball history? Or is this version of Jokic peaking higher than any
Look at his
player
jump shot,
we
bro.
have ever seen before? Well, there's a pile of evidence that suggests he is. So far this season, when Jokic is on the floor, the Nuggets score 31 more points per 100 possessions, which means Jokic is single-handedly the difference between the Nuggets being one of the best offenses in NBA history and one of the worst. But the absence of any great offensive player will wreak havoc on a team. It should be expected that a system will struggle when you take out their most valuable and important player. From 2015 to 2017, the 3-year offensive peak of Steph Curry's career,
Steph Curry,
the
exactly, I
Warriors
agree,
scored
Steph Curry.
15 more points per 100 possessions when he was on the court versus when he wasn't. And Steph's offensive value throughout this 3-year stretch had become the gold standard in the modern NBA. According to Cleaning the Glass, which has a database that dates back to 2004, no other player over the last 21 seasons has been able to match Steph's offensive impact. LeBron came relatively close from 2008 to 2010, elevating the Cavs' offense by 13.5 points per 100 possessions. Peak Chris Paul and Steve Nash were the catalyst to 2 incredible offenses. But even amongst offensive juggernauts, Steph was in a league of his own. Until Jokic hit his peak, where he has been the most impactful offensive player over the last 2 decades,
what?
and it's not even remotely close. Over the last 3 seasons, the Nuggets scored 23.3 more points per 100 possessions when Jokic is on the court. That is a larger gap than most starting fives have over their bench unit. Jokic is making this big of an impact by himself, and we already knew that
Right, because he has nobody on his team. Like, look. Okay, look. Okay. I understand what he's saying. He's saying, okay, he's scoring so much points that his team needs points per 100 possession. First of all, Curry's not by himself. That's number one. Curry's definitely not freaking by himself. He had Clay, he had Draymond, all these other players with him. You know what I'm saying? Kobe was definitely not by himself. 2005, 2007, I don't remember that. Kevin Durant was definitely not by himself when he was with them. He had Curry, Clay, Draymond, you know what I'm saying? Giannis, Luka, Joel Embiid. Like, these dudes have people on their teams that can score the ball efficiently. This dude has Jamal Murray that only comes when it's beneficial to him, when girls are on the sidelines and he decides to do good. You know what I'm saying? All these other people here, Tim Duncan had Tony Parker. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, man. You can't do that,
some
bro.
of the best, most impactful players in NBA history. But to really enter the conversation, Jokic first had to do what every all-time great must. Prove that he could be this good over and over and over again. That his dominance transcended who you put around him, and that his impact wasn't some 3-year abnormality. And he's now done that. He's way past the point of skepticism, and now entering the point where we have almost built a tolerance to his absolutely mind-bending stat lines. Basketball Reference cites a season where a player achieves a box plus minus of 10 or more as an all-time great season. As they put it, think peak Jordan or LeBron. And only 16 players in the history of the NBA have achieved this mark for a single season. Only 4 of these 16 players have achieved this mark in multiple seasons. Those players being LeBron, Jordan, Giannis, and Chris Paul. Nikola Jokic has a box plus minus of 10 or more for his entire career. Easily the highest BPM of any player in NBA history. In fact, there have only been 8 individual seasons where a player logged a box plus minus of at least 12. LeBron James did it once back in 2009, the most productive and high usage season of his entire career. Michael Jordan did it twice, once back in 1988, arguably the greatest individual season in NBA history and the best statistical season of his career,
That's what we
and
like to
again
see right there.
in 1991. This season, Nikola Jokic is on path to accomplishing this feat as well,
What?
joining an exclusive club with the 2 greatest players of all time. But he's been in the club for a while now, because he also did it last season, and the season before that. Oh, and the season before that, and the season before that one. 5
What?
straight seasons of basketball, equal or better than the very best seasons of LeBron and Jordan. But you don't have to seek out metrics to see how Jokic has mastered the game. Every single time he steps on the court, it is clear that he is just simply better than everyone else. From the top of
On
the
his
key
team,
all
yeah.
the way to the rim, there isn't anywhere on the court where Jokic can't pick apart a team. Near the rim, Jokic is virtually automatic. He's got the size and strength to abuse even the best big men in the league, because as everyone
Bro,
was tailoring their game
who,
to
like,
spacing and athleticism and speed,
there's no
Jokic
Shaq in the
has
league
gone
right
the
now,
other
like-
direction. The size of a true big with
This league
footwork and
is-
touch around the rim that most defenders
Look at him,
in
bro.
the NBA
He barely
today
jumps off the
have
ground.
no idea what to do with. For most
barely
big,
jumps off the damn
punishing
ground.
centers, this is the extent of their expertise. A game built to dominate
Look at this number
around the
7,
rim. And there's
number
2
19 on the
counters for
Raptors. Like,
players
who
like
is that guy?
this. Try to push
Come
their
on,
game
Giannis.
away from the
Oh.
rim or collapse.
We need Giannis.
and
Where's
force them
Giannis?
to
Show
make a play.
Giannis.
2 counters that have been
Giannis
relatively
definitely not
effective
getting baby
since
like
the
that. That's why
beginning
they're not
of
showing
time.
clips like that.
Except Jokic will feast on both
Chat,
of
like,
these
look at
options.
Chat, bro.
As the best playmaker in the league,
Look
collapsing
at
or
Luka guarding
sending
him.
multiple defenders at Jokic doesn't work. He'll find the open man and make you pay with a 3 ball.
He got
The
IQ.
man
I ain't
is
gonna lie.
sick.
That's what Jokic
If
got. He got
anything,
IQ.
this
That's
is
why I
probably
can't
his
deny.
preference.
I cannot deny that. He got
We
IQ,
wanted
bro.
the 3 anyways.
He going past
So
that jump.
as of late, teams have tried option number 2, force his game away from the rim. And this has worked in the past.
He got
As we
IQ,
saw
right?
in last year's playoffs, teams forced Jokic to shoot the outside shot, and he struggled
Look at his
quite a
ugly
bit.
jump shot.
26%
Exactly. He
on
struggled.
4 threes a game
He
in the
struggled a
postseason.
lot, boy.
This was the chink in his armor. Well, at least it was. Because this season, Jokic is shooting 50% from 3
What?
on 4.2 attempts per game. 50%. The second
Oh my
most
God.
efficient three-point shooter in the league among all players shooting
I
at
ain't gonna
least
lie.
4 threes a game. So he can crush you around the rim, and you don't even want him to get the ball down
Alright, that's
there.
impressive.
But
I ain't gonna lie,
he's
that's pretty
now one of the
impressive. I ain't gonna
most
lie, I ain't gonna lie, that's
efficient
impressive, that's
three-point
impressive.
shooters in the league, so we can't let him operate however he wants out there. So let's play him close, put a big body on him, deny the passing lanes, and get physical. Again, a tactic that worked against Jokic about as well as any other. Except that doesn't work either, because Jokic also has the ability to put the ball on the floor and go downhill, which shouldn't be possible for a guy his size, but he does it. And once he gets to the middle of the floor, well, now you've
It's
lost.
over, yeah,
In
'cause
the
his
NBA,
IQ is
a player's
crazy.
gravity is a concept that has really become one of the most valuable things to
Look
possess.
at that. Why does everybody
This
crash him?
is what offensive gravity looks
Look
like.
at this,
When Jokic
man.
gets to this spot, the defense completely
One,
sinks
two.
in and bends
Two people
however
are wide
he
the hell
wants it
open.
to. From here, he becomes the most
That's just
lethal
bad
offensive
defense,
weapon
though,
the
no?
game has ever seen. With the
Can we just
size,
count that as
IQ,
bad
and
defense?
skills to do whatever he wants. From this spot, there really isn't anything preventing Jokic from at least getting the shot that he or his team wants. Again, the best passer and playmaker in the league, so he'll
I
find
agree.
the open man if and
I
when you
agree,
close on
I
him.
agree.
Give him
Best
space,
passer,
and he's
best
capable of hitting
playmaker,
the
he got
shot
IQ.
all day long. Or maybe he'll just put
I
his
agree
back
with
to the
that.
basket and back you into oblivion while you question if all that time you spent in the weight room was really worth it. Peak Jokic doesn't really have any weaknesses on offense. At the moment, not only is there no consistent, tangible way of stopping him, it looks like there isn't even a way to slow him down. And
just
although
pushed the
this
crap
can be
out of
said
that
about a
dude.
few players who hit all-time high peaks, there may not be another player who is as consequential to their team and its success as Nikola Jokic
Wow.
is. So far this season, Jokic touches the ball 113 times per game. That's
What?
any time he receives a pass or grabs a rebound. A mark that leads the NBA by a
113
country
times?
mile. But the crazy part is that the Nuggets only have 100 possessions per game this season.
Right,
Which means
so
on
how-
average, Jokic touches the ball not
Every
just
single-
every single Nuggets possession, but multiple times on several possessions.
Because
In
he's the
fact,
only dude
since
on the
NBA
team, bro.
introduced
Like,
tracking data back in 2014, here are some all-time great players and how involved they were.
so the
in their
ones I'm
team's
covering is
system throughout their
LeBron, Kevin
3-year
Durant,
peak,
James Harden.
how many touches per possession they were getting. And across the board, all of them are floating between 0.6 and 0.8 touches per team possession, with LeBron, Harden, and Luka carrying the heaviest load of anyone. Luka even approaching a 1-to-1 touch-to-possession ratio
Wow.
throughout the last 3 seasons. The Mavericks needing him to be involved in nearly every possession. And still,
Nah, 'cause Luka was
Jokic
nice.
is on a whole nother
What?
level, where he is being utilized on virtually every single possession
'Cause
in every single
he
game
is the guy
for
on his
3
team.
straight seasons. So not only does Jokic
The only guy.
statistically contribute more to his team's winning, the load he is burdened with dwarfs even the greatest high-impact players over the last decade. Jokic isn't just the most important piece in Denver's offense, he is Denver's offense. Which brings us to the one glaring pitfall for Jokic's case
Ooh,
as
nice
truly
block.
the highest peak of any
But still,
player
you see,
ever.
like, he has IQ, bro. There's no
Defense.
doubt about
A
it.
solid defensive player at his best and a net negative player at his worst.
What does
and
that mean?
this is the one factor that may prevent him from peaking higher than anyone else.
'Cause his defense is
There's two
dookie,
sides
I
of the
just said
ball.
it.
He's the best we've ever seen on one side.
Look at him.
And he's okay on
Bro,
the
so
other
you
side.
telling me, look at this, y'all. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier, bro. You telling me you could back down anybody, push them out the way,
Hands of the ball. He's
but
the
then when
best we've ever
what's this nigga's name? Whatever his initials is, Shy pushes you,
seen on
you fly like that. That's what you telling me right now, bro? Nah, bro. I know, bro.
on one side.
He is not built like no damn linebacker or anything, bro. He should not be pushing like that, bro. Stick on defense. The same way you do it on offense, the same way you got to do it on defense,
And
bro.
he's
There's no
okay
wishy-washy
on the
stuff
other
about
side.
this.
Meanwhile, there have been many great players that have been incredible on both ends. Mike, LeBron, Kareem, Duncan,
yeah.
Kobe,
The
Hakeem,
GOATs.
even Shaq and Bird were great defensive players at the peak of their powers. Jordan
that
was
boy, Larry
almost as impactful on offense as Jokic is, while being one of the best defensive players in the league at
at
his
that.
peak. Same goes with LeBron. And because most advanced metrics neglect defense or measure it incorrectly, the impact they had on the game doesn't quite translate to the numbers we see on the back end. For example, this season, even the best all-in-one metric, estimated plus minus, has Jokic in the 92nd percentile on defense, with an EPM of plus 1.4, ahead of players like Drew Holiday and
Scottie
Jason
Pippen?
Tatum. This same metric has peak DPOY candidate LeBron at a defensive EPM of just plus 1.2, which is worse defensively than Jokic this season. And it doesn't take an analyst to know Jokic and 2013 LeBron are worlds apart on the defensive end.
Right,
Where Jokic
bro,
gets the
like,
benefit
what?
From virtually every metric we look
Those
at,
stats is
some other
lying.
players may not. And I don't know if unprecedented offensive mastery is enough to overcome the fact that Jokic is considerably worse on defense than others are. At least, I don't think so. But when I actually watch Jokic play, it's not the metrics, but
He's just
my
an
eyes
offensive
that tell
machine,
me
bro.
he's influencing and impacting the game just
Hey,
as much
yo.
as anyone I've ever seen. It feels
Nah, I
a
ain't
bit
gonna
weird
lie,
to
he-
put Jokic
he-
in the
he's an
same
offensive
conversation
threat.
with a peak Jordan
Offensive
or a
threat.
peak LeBron. Two players who have essentially been levitating above everyone else. As valuable as Jokic is, I witnessed a man carry second-rate teams to the finals over and over and over. And contending with the greatest player of all time is a task that no one has ever been able to pull off. But everything, from the metrics to the eye test, says he is truly that caliber of player right now. The man has been the best player in the world for half a decade. So ask yourself, how many players in NBA history have been the best player for more than 2, maybe 3 years at a time? There has been a
There's
lot
a
of
lot
guys
of best
who've worn the
players.
crown, but how many held on to it for extended periods? The list isn't very long. Kareem, Bird, Magic, Jordan, Shaq, Duncan, LeBron, maybe 6 or 7 players in the league's history?
Kobe.
Well, whatever list you came up with, Jokic is now on it. And he isn't just the best player on the planet today. He is one
Shaq.
of the best versions of any player ever.
Curry, Kevin Durant, like, come on now. Let me know what y'all boys think, bro. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna catch you on the next reaction video. Peace.